All right, hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Team Next Level Quad Pod. I'm Greg, and we have a special panel tonight. We have James and Yvonne in the same room at the same time for the first time.
Yes.
No,
everyone.
Yeah,
right?
first time.
Well, not first time.
When you were a guest, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the
right,
last
right.
time.
Before she started
Yeah, her.
infecting
Had
me.
it-
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like you're host emeritus or whatever, like right? Like you just
Yeah.
I'm the Mark Consuelos of the
Right.
Quad Pod.
Yeah.
You
there
know,
we go. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Call me in.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
James wasn't going away. I had to find a better target.
Right.
So,
So we made Rich go
took
away.
Rich out.
And Rich is,
Mhm.
I heard, pretty ill, so
Yeah. So
that's always something.
I know.
I don't know. Who's next?
so we've got me, Marilyn, James, and Yvonne here. Everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, knock on wood.
I almost had drowning by snorkel today, but
Oh.
I'm good now.
Yeah. Same.
James, too, tell your story. Your story's funny.
I did a lot of snorkel practice today.
Yeah.
But that one arm drill is like really messing me up.
Mhm.
And so I think I don't know if I'm looking like way down
Way
trying
down.
to get rotation. I'm like sucking in like a straw, the pool water.
So like the top of the snorkel
It's
is
just going
underwater.
right in the water
Yeah,
and,
that
like,
would be
taking a nice-
looking too far down.
I'm taking
Yeah.
a nice full
Yeah.
breath.
Uh-huh.
But then, whatever. I did that a bunch of times. I did a bunch of drills. Then at the end, I'm like, all right, let me see if all these drills, how it felt on a regular swim.
Yeah.
And see, like, did I feel the rotation? So I go swim. I go out, push off the wall. And then the first thing I do is, like, my face in the water. I just take a breath in the water.
Because you didn't have the
no
snorkel?
on. Yeah. And all the water just, like, rushes in my mouth.
Oops, forgot.
So, like, either way.
So you almost drowned today.
Like, myself, like, by my own fault. Just,
Yeah.
Do you ever swim and not almost drown? I feel like
No, there's always something.
Yeah. I have never. The snorkel is just.
just a regular snorkel, just using it. I've almost killed myself doing
No,
a
like
flip
a
turn with the
regular.
snorkel.
Oh,
You
God.
tried that?
You're-
Flip
Yeah.
turn with a snorkel is hard.
Yeah.
You have to
I'm
like
not anywhere near that.
patiently breathe, like when you're doing it. Like
Yeah.
you can't just take like a gasping breath because who knows how much water might be in there.
Yeah.
That's scary
It's
to
very
me.
stressful, the snorkel. But I'm
You said-
embracing it.
You said 50%? You're at 50%
About
comfort?
50.
That's good. 5 more times.
Yeah.
5 more times would be good.
I'll get
Or
that in like a
Percentage
week
would
and
be
a half.
different.
Yep.
Mhm.
Next episode, we'll hear what percentage you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
So
How are
We-
you, Greg?
I'm doing fine. Yeah. School
no one
starts.
ever asks him. Yvonne.
School starts on Friday, so
Oh,
yeah.
kids or no kids?
No kids. That's next week, but yeah, it's still like that going back in the building kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like the perpetual Sunday of,
Mhm.
of the summer.
Yeah, I don't want to bring the group down, so we don't need to talk about it. Yeah, so everybody is doing well. That's good. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so last episode we talked to Yvonne about her experience winning her age group, and just
Woohoo.
pretty much kicking ass.
Mhm.
And we said we were going to hold off on talking about kind of the process of putting on the race until we had James back on, and now we do. So, James, congratulations on absolutely successful,
Yeah. Where's the
Standing
applause
O.
button?
absolutely successful experience putting on the PV Tri.
I feel very uncomfortable taking credit. I mean,
Yeah, but you have
You
to.
did.
deserve
like,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
there was a lot of help on everyone else, and it really showed the night before and the day of when we're setting up, because it went so much more smoothly, and I had so much more sleep the night before than
Yeah.
last year. So
Mhm.
huge help.
Yeah, but that was because of your efforts.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a great, it was a well put on race.
Mhm.
So kind of what was your, like, what was it like for you as, you were by far the, we'll call it the race director, you did all the legwork. Like what were kind of the lessons that were learned and stuff like that?
I think the biggest thing was I just really wanted to make sure the word got out, because I think last year when we did it, we were under the gun.
Yeah.
Like, we had
Mhm.
actually set a date saying if we hadn't gotten approval,
Yeah.
we had to pull the plug.
Right.
Mhm.
And when that date hit, I'm like, all right, we're pulling the plug. And then the next day we got approval. I was like, all right, I guess we're doing this.
Yes, we didn't pull the plug all the way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was just like, well, all right, we'll try it.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot learned from last year to build off of in terms of what needed to get done, but it was still a lot of uncharted territory.
Right.
So I really focused on like I just want to make sure people hear about it. So just making ads, using social media, just getting the words out, talking to everybody. Like, hey, we're doing this try. Like, you should sign up. And if anyone even mentioned like they moved, I was like, oh, you should do the PB try. Like, oh, like you run? All right, you should just do triathlon. And if they said no, like then it's like, do you know 2 other people? Like just make a relay. So it's just getting the word out and finding pockets of people that could spread the word for us too was huge. So that was probably like my biggest focus in the beginning. Then it was like the fundraising. That's like,
I mean, so let's kind of give kudos where it's due. The participation increased by at least 50%.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Maybe
we had
more?
a little over 150 registrants at the end of the day, and I think last year we were like just under 100.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely grew.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
And this was also the introduction of the first Splash and Dash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we brought it back for under us. I think they used to do it before, and then last year when it was our first time bringing the
that
race
would've been
back, it was just
too
a
much.
lot to
Yeah.
do. But then this year, we brought it in, and the kids came out. We had almost, I think, 30 kids.
Yeah.
Just in the Splash and Dash alone.
Yeah. And I think more when we had originally talked about doing it, we thought it would be like people who are participating would bring their kids along. But I don't think it turned out to be that way, right?
Other
Like,
people.
There's only a handful like
Yeah.
that. The rest was like people just came for that.
for that.
We actually
Which
had a
is nice.
couple of kids that their parents used to do triathlon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So they signed up their kids, and then I think they got the itch.
itch a little
to
bit.
maybe
do
they'll be
it. So
back
we're
next
hoping
year.
next
I
year.
mean,
Yeah.
I kind of thought the same thing. When I was looking at the group, I'm like, man, I wonder how many of these kids are now going to get their parents
Yeah.
into it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to spread the word and help it to grow.
And also a big shout out to Phoenix Aquatic Club. They got a bunch of their
Represented.
kids to come out. So I think they had over 10 or 12 kids
Okay.
alone from their team
That's awesome.
to come out and participate.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of familiar faces from like the Stony Brook swimming, and I think a bunch of those kids are on Phoenix.
Mm.
So,
And a Stingray swimmer happened to win it, right?
yeah.
Who was that?
Who
Yeah.
might that be?
Little Killer Keller.
Yeah.
He did good. He's a competitor to a fault sometimes. And he had a blast. Both of my kids did it. They enjoyed it. It was
Did you have to hear about who came in first the rest of the evening?
No, not really. He was okay with that. Like he came across the line first. I think even if he hadn't won, like the timing, he coming across the line first was all he needed.
And you got to hand him
Aw.
his medal too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Which
was
is
nice.
nice, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got good video with both of them coming across the line. It was a fun. They enjoyed it, both of them. So it was nice to have the Splash and Dash thing. Just a fun kind of way to cap the event off. And
Yeah.
then, so you were talking about fundraising. Like,
Fundraising.
that was another huge boost from where we were last year.
I mean, it's
That
definitely
doubled, right? Or more?
more than double.
More.
So kudos to Marilyn. She's like a prolific
Oh, not just
fundraiser.
me, everybody.
She was just like her knack. I don't know if it's just her charm or people were scared of her. Like she went in there, she asked, and they gave it to her. So
Did she ask? I don't know. Maybe we need to request video.
Give me your money now.
but yeah,
So whatever it is, just keep doing it. Okay?
Yeah.
I think that was like the point where I think once we hit a certain number in fundraising, then I was like, all right, then let's keep running these ads because
Yeah.
Yeah.
then I was like, all right, we have a cushion.
Mhm.
We can invest more into this, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like okay, we're gonna at least break even. So that was nice to have that.
Yeah.
So that was huge.
I just picture Marilyn going to Houndstown, like threatening all the puppies. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
want to see your puppies again?
I almost hugged the guy. I told these guys,
Yeah.
I was like, I almost hugged him. I don't even hug people.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, and then
funny.
we had a lot of repeat donors
Yeah.
Yeah.
re up again. So
Mhm.
it's nice to have their support. They love the cause too. So that was the other thing, like tying it into a local charity.
Yeah. Yeah, I
gets
think that's
people
big.
to like want to like they know like they get to race and they get to help.
And we should mention
community.
some of the people that donated, right?
Yeah, so we had obviously Next Level Physio, one of our main sponsors, Houndstown Hillsdale, the Lucan Center for Psychotherapy, our biggest
Those were our big three.
Those were our
right?
big
big three,
three. Yeah.
donations, and so they were huge help. So Definitely, if you participate in the try, there was a flyer and actually some customized postcards for them that we put out that had special offers just for PB Try participants. But I'm sure if you just mentioned the PB Try and you're looking for their services, they'll honor that for you.
Are there some links that could be added to?
Yeah, absolutely. I can put them
our
in the show notes
sponsors?
for sure.
Yeah.
So I was definitely grateful for them to really step up, support the race, and then we had Fitworks there. He even he this is his first time with us supporting the race, and he even came out, offered bike support at the race too. So it was checking out people's bikes if they needed help, and then showing what he offered. And he has a special too for, I forget what percentage. Forgive me, but I think it's like 15 or 20% off a fitting.
A fitting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's great.
if
Yeah, that
you
is
mentioned
good.
PB Try. Then we had the CrossFit the Rack, Nino's.
We had
Greco's,
Greco's,
Runner's
Road
House.
Runners.
Yep, Road
Trader
Runners,
Joe's.
Trader Joe's, Starbucks. Trader Joe's and Starbucks are huge, providing coffee, banana, water. Carl Emer, the sausages, those things.
I didn't get to try one.
Yeah, I didn't even get one, but those
I
things.
heard my son had like 7.
Oh.
That's the culprit. Yeah, 10 pounds of sausages. We just
Yeah.
blew through it.
Through that
Yeah.
quick.
Greg grilled sausages.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you, Greg. Brought a flat
Greg the
top
griller.
grill.
Yeah.
Griller Greg.
The pigs did all the hard work.
Aw.
Am I forgetting anybody? Probably.
Probably, but we
I
hit the
think
big
that's
ones that
everybody.
were,
Yeah.
the 3 big ones that really made us able to donate a big chunk
Yeah.
of change
Mhm.
back to the Hillsdale Helping Hands Food
Yep.
Pantry.
Mhm.
So we doubled. Last year we donated 2,500. This year it's going to be 5,000. Actually, we had to coordinate a time to meet with them because they couldn't be there on site. But they told me just give them a time and we can meet them, present them with the big
The
kind
big
of
check.
the big
Big
check,
check.
take a little photo,
Yeah,
and then give them a real check.
cool.
But yeah, so fundraising is probably, I guess, maybe that is like the hardest thing I think in a race, for organizing a race. The other stuff is more once you know how to
Right. Once
the
you have the
mechanics of it.
logistics down of that, it's
Yeah,
rinse and repeat every year.
Mhm.
being able to go up to businesses and talk to people and asking them for money for something that they may not directly benefit from right now, and then showing them that it could benefit them.
Yeah.
That's a tough job. So luckily we have Marilyn. She's going to be our fundraising captain next year.
And if anyone out there wants to donate next year,
Yeah.
Right.
Never
We were
reach
talking
out
about
to
us.
we were talking about
Mhm.
maybe opening it up to some other local charities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe having like an application window.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it seems like this race is kind of on the way up, and we've a lot more participants potentially, a lot more people to reach. So
Yeah. And so I guess, all right, and then going back to the whole process, the hardest process, or I don't say the hardest, but the most important was getting approval. So that's,
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole process in that. You have to ask the town, the pool board, the police have to review it, has to go to the council meeting, get all
Takes
these
a
things.
long time.
And does that have to happen in multiple towns because the race goes through multiple towns? Does it need approval in each of those?
It just needs approval for us for Hillsdale.
Okay.
And then the Rivervale police have to sign off on
That they'll be
route.
able to
Yeah.
Okay. Provide support. Okay.
Just got that bill too today.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Oh.
I think I wish I could do part-time police
Police
support
officer.
on a race. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good gig.
All right. So how about things that you could see improving for next year? Like it's when it's still fresh in your head, like,
Mhm.
debriefing and going through that stuff is always important.
I think always like communication, the more communication we can do.
Mhm.
I'd like to have more like
I mean,
regular communication with
there were things like you did, like the athlete's guide. Like I've never done
Yeah,
a
the
sprint
athlete's guide was
triathlon
so
with
good.
an athlete's guide.
Yeah.
Like,
That was
most
it
of
was
the
good.
time it's a couple of things on a website. Like,
yeah.
you have to go searching for it. It's not all in one spot.
Mhm.
That was a phenomenal thing.
I think I'm spoiled by the races we've been to, especially like the Ironman events.
Yeah.
So I try to emulate that for
Mhm.
the
I
PB
think
try.
it creates like such a fun expectation
Ma-
for the athletes
Yes,
too, because
like
you feel like you're
real-
really
feel
doing a race.
Yeah. 100%.
So it gives them a little taste of the
Mhm.
bigger events and just makes it feel like it's not just this little
Mhm.
local thing that we
Right.
scrapped together. So
Right.
I
And
know
it looks-
everybody that came in to pick up the packets and stuff, they were very, if they didn't, most of them did already take a look at it and they were like, yeah, I already saw it. It was thoroughly written out in the athlete guide, and if they didn't, it was like something to point them to.
Right.
So.
I would like to upgrade some like the images, the maps, because like the resolution isn't great. But
Oh, come on! Now you're just
I'm just nitpicking. But I'm just thinking like, what can we do?
Maybe a new font for my yellow arrows.
Oh, I did choose like fonts and try to make it
Interactive.
consistent. It was yeah. I got
It
a little
looks really
neurotic.
nice.
I thought it was
and
great.
looked
Yeah.
legit.
But yeah, like communicate, just like emails, like regularly going out, updating. And that's what I try to do also, like when anything came up, like traffic, like the stuff with the bridge, the construction, just letting people know, trying to show as much of the race course that we're setting up. So just people know, because I feel like that's when you're an athlete, like
Yeah,
you
you
want to
wanna
know,
know.
like as
that
much
was
information.
great. I mean, doing it myself, I was looking at all the videos the night before, and anything that came up, and you're like, all right, here to like visually see, like when you get to this section, this is where you want to stay single file, and it just eases the anxiety and the stress that you have going into it.
Yeah, especially for a beginner. I mean, picture yourself doing a race for the first time, seeing all that is so helpful.
Yeah, I think it was fun making like the transition video, and you know, it got like almost 100 views or something. So like people,
And we had 100
Right, people
participants.
watched
So watching it.
Most of the
Yeah.
participants probably watched.
Although it might have been me like 50 times.
but like I want to like provide like as much like content for people to like look at, so that they feel comfortable, especially if you're a first time racer going into the race, and say like go into like not having any questions as much as possible.
Right.
So you know, work on that, and it's good. Like once we build it once, we can just keep using it over and over again. The biggest thing to solve, I think, will be that bike.
Yeah.
That bike not bike transition, but the bike.
Right. Bike
When
mount.
you come
and
in and
dismount
out.
area.
Yeah.
It's a tough. I'm starting to try to think of how we could rework it, but it would be like reworking the entire course. Like I even thought about like if we use the exits inside Stony Brook that go towards the condos, and maybe make if that neighborhood let us use it, then it could be a little less confusing. But then it changes the whole course.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it's a nice, easy course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we once we get consistent with it, I think it was better. I think this year was better than
This
last
year
year.
was way better. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So
for sure.
if it got Maryland's, like Maryland was shared, that was confusing last year because you kind of found out too late.
Right. When you pulled in. And I think it was when you would pull in this year, it was marked much better where you could see what was happening. I think last year it was just a little too, yeah. Like I said, it was like a sea of cones last year when you went in, and I was like, wait, where's even like the line? I don't know.
And then I definitely want to use that PV sprint like Facebook page, like use it more to get more information to people. And it's just the way I think from our experience, like when we sign up for these big races, like they all have a page,
right?
And you're trying to find out last minute info or whatever.
Right.
Like people bring up stuff,
and
like
you see updates there.
Yeah, so just like give it a similar experience, even though it's like a smaller local race. Like just give them that kind of big race experience.
Yeah. I think a lot of the people that race are pretty like-minded because it's funny. We all kind of think the same way. So it's a nice forum to just throw out your thoughts, get the information, and we seem to be pretty needing of that. So it helps.
Yeah, I think just the nerves of showing up on the morning of and not really knowing what's going on is, just adds a level of stress that most people don't want to deal with at 5 a.m.
Because, you can't think that day.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no like figuring out which way you're going.
Right.
Day of.
And yeah, definitely. It is. Even people that I could tell based on the bike they were on and stuff pulling into make the loops, like they were asking like, wait, which side? They were confused, and clearly they were people that have done triathlon before. So whatever we can do to make it easier. Yeah,
absolutely. It's like if you could only go one way, they're still like, which way do I go?
Right, because your brain isn't working. Yeah, your brain's not working right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things that people would like to see is that into T1, if we could put down like a turf or something.
Oh yeah.
There's
so many people asking for turf there, right?
Yeah. So
that's a.
I think that's we have a little operating cash to work with now.
Yeah,
so I think that'll be our first upgrade.
Like a red carpet, please.
Yeah.
Red, green, whatever's on sale.
Yeah, whatever's on sale. It just has to be softer.
Softer.
It likes to be carried
Yeah.
to my T1.
Maybe can we have a golf cart, like a golf cart that just shuttles people over?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be.
I mean, the bike going down wasn't any better because you're like downhill. I mean, it was rainy this year, so the water was the ground was still a little wet. But like going down with the bike shoes and
back into transition.
Yeah, like with the bike, I was running down and I was like, please, like I verbally said it out loud, like please do not let me fall in front of all these people waiting right now.
You already did that like a month prior, right?
Yeah. I fell into my dismount. So.
Oh, did you? I don't remember that.
At NJ State.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you?
I did.
Why don't I remember that?
Right, I don't know. I said it. I was like, can't believe. I got off and I was right onto the side. Just and they're like, "You okay?" I was like, "I'm fine."
The spot where
Don't
everybody,
look at me.
where
just like ran away.
Watching,
It's terrible, and everyone's like, "Ah!" As you're like running, and I'm like, "Shut up!"
Oh, maybe that's what we can do is like set up some really good like spectator spots for people. I think people kind of gravitate already.
Yeah.
People were by
spot.
the bike where the bikes came in. And there were a lot
because
of
they
people
went through there a couple times.
Yeah,
They could
so
keep
that's
track
a good
of
spot. Yeah.
But yeah, then we can make those high pressure spots for people.
it. Mm-hmm.
And
Dismount,
run out.
yeah.
Like there were some people standing by the run
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They had a little house of people giving out bananas. That was so cute.
Oh wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On the run course?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope
love
people
that.
didn't take it. No off-course support is accepted.
Oh,
That's
God.
an automatic DQ.
really?
I took a
Not a
banana and I
PB try.
handed it
Oh,
over. I didn't
no.
eat the
Ooh.
banana. I did not want the banana.
Ooh,
Actually,
do we have
but-
to strip the
We might
title?
have to strip your title.
No.
Ooh. Yeah.
We'll send it to the commissaires.
Yeah.
Decide.
I'm here. I'm voting. She keeps the title.
I didn't eat the banana. I just took
Yeah.
it. You can't like not take a banana from a baby.
So now you're stealing bananas from babies. That's great. What a nice person. Okay, so the rest. Any other things, James? Just we'll reiterate it again. Great job. The race is looking like it's headed in a good direction, and that's because of all the hard work that you put into it. So.
I definitely did find it rewarding to hear like positive experiences from people. And I think what made my day too was like it just happened to like catch like it was 15 minutes before announcements at the race.
Oh my gosh, the woman. Yeah.
There was a lady who was on a relay with her kids.
Yeah.
And I think it was I think you were talking to them, and she looked kind of like stressed out, and I was like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I forgot my wheel." I was like, "Oh," and she's like, "I was like, what kind of wheel?" And then she's like, "I don't know." She said it was like rim brake. I was like, "Oh," and it's like, "What size?" Like I wanted to make sure it wasn't a small. I was like, "Oh, I got a wheel." So like I live 2 blocks from
We
there.
saw him. We were like, wait, where are you
Yeah.
going?
I was like, I gotta
in
go.
Your car.
James looked at me and I was like, I knew. I just could tell in his face he was going to make this happen. And I was like, if you're going to go right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta go. And he's like, give this to Greg. Don't wait for me.
He's in his car. I was like, where are you going?
Yeah, because announcements were like just about to start.
Yeah.
And so then, so I went home. Luckily, I had a wheel she could use. I got it ready for her, put it on her bike, and like saved her race. And she had
It was the
great time.
kid, honestly, like, because I think she would have been either way, but the kids were so excited to do it. And they weren't
so
young
sweet.
kids. They were,
Yeah.
teenage kids. And they were so bummed. And she just looked like so helpless. And, James was like, I gotta do, and I just knew it in his eyes, like, I gotta make this happen. And it's like, who else
She
would
was
go
so
and get a
grateful.
wheel? And I saw her later on and I was like, did you get to race? She's like, I did. It fit. She was so happy to do that for her kids. And, that, I mean, you can't really.
Yeah. That's
That's why I feel like it was like just makes it worth it. Like doing the race. It's
Yeah.
just getting people to have like wonderful experiences. Like that's what we get to do. Like we get to provide a chance for people to do things that they didn't think they could do, or save the day like that, or just like she got to experience a race with her kids. Like it's just that's what we're making happen. So that was very rewarding.
But please, everyone, make sure you have 2 wheels, right?
Right.
If you come next year.
yeah.
We'll put that on the athlete guide.
They're like, I heard you guys give out wheels
Right.
at this thing.
Remember both wheels, please.
Yeah.
BYOW. Then James just did a boss move and just did the try and pieced out to Jamaica.
I know.
Yeah.
He was like, God.
That was
You
like
needed that.
Yeah,
the
you
best
did.
feeling. It was like I just left, and then I was like, whatever is like I know because there's still stuff that need to be like. We cleaned up at Stony Brook, but I was like,
Yeah.
I know there's stuff at the office, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm gonna be gone. It's like I'll worry about
They'll
that.
figure it out.
Someone else will take care of
He
that.
left with the keys. Did you ever get the keys back?
They actually, I got you emailed me or texted me like, yeah, they're asking for the keys. I'm like, oh, to Stony Brook because I didn't return it right away. So then, luckily, my neighbor he had my keys to my house, so he he dropped off the keys for them because I didn't want us to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And not be trusted again.
Right. We need them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No late night swimming
Yeah,
for
I was
us.
going to say,
No.
James sneaking in for some late night skinny dips at Stony Brook.
Skinny dipping.
He hadn't even thought of that.
He said, wait a minute. Next time, make a
Darn it.
spare.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of news lately in the sport of triathlon. A lot of big races going on. Some we in the last week, I guess, week and a half, we've had the big Paris test event, which is a short course race done about a year before the Olympics on the same course. Absolutely stunning course, like riding and running through downtown Paris, like just it's going to be a spectacle. Unfortunately, on the third, it was men one day, women the next, and then mixed team relay the third day. The water quality in the river was so bad that they had to cancel the swim for the mixed team relay.
Is this the one where 57 people had explosive diarrhea after?
Yes.
Was that it?
I think so.
I saw some race, and I feel like it was that.
People got, I don't know how many it was, but I know that the people did get sick.
Yeah, so it was either that one or like 2 days later, 2 days later was the PTO race in Singapore. And I know that Christian Blumenfeld and Sam Long both got
They
violently sick from that swim. So
There's
they
a
had
lot of-
Paris test event, phenomenal race, other than the water quality thing on the third day. 2 days later, you have the PTO race in Singapore. And then 5 or 6 days later, you have 70.3 World Championships in Finland. So kind of a week of some of the highest level pro racing that there's been. Christian Blumenfeld did all three. He flew from Paris to Singapore, back to Paris, and then to Finland.
Wow.
And competed in all three races. He shit the bed in
Literally.
At World Championships and came in like 36th place. But he had apparently been very, very ill during the week in between Singapore and Finland. But
That's tough.
yeah. So we thought we'd talk about some of the stuff that's been going on in the races on kind of a a very somber note, though. In Ironman Ireland a couple days ago, there were 2 deaths, right?
Yeah. I think they said it was like a 40-something-year-old male and a 60. Actually, the guy who was 64 is going to be his 65th birthday. It was part of his celebration to kick off being 65.
But I don't know if this is correct, but I think I read that one of them died prior to getting into the water, or something happened before getting into the water. Is that right?
So I guess that was a
I don't know if
cardiac
anything's
arrest
been
guy.
confirmed yet.
Yeah. So one was drowning and was in the water, but the other one was before.
Yeah. So, I mean, as soon as it happened, I had seen stuff on social media kind of reporting the stuff. I didn't know as much of the stuff, James, that you put in. So they actually did shorten the swim during the race?
event. I think
During
they
the
sent
race.
people out first. And then like mid-course, they had to tell them like it was getting so bad. They had to like redirect them. They said like, don't go to that buoy, go to this other one.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think some of the issues here that like they had kind of planned for this scenario because of the storms and doing a shorter, safer route. And then last minute they said, let's just stick to the original.
Can we
route.
talk also, because I don't think you have this on there, before even getting that far, that it wasn't sanctioned?
Yeah. So I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. So even before shortening it, they probably never should have even gotten in the water.
Yeah. So there was this, I don't know too much of the details. Like, I don't know if there was like an argument over this or not, or if this is something that maybe happens somewhat frequently. Triathlon Ireland, that organization, that morning was not willing to sanction the race because of the conditions of the swim. And Ironman said, we're going to go on with it. Now, I don't know if that's something that's unique to Ireland. I don't know, like at every Ironman event in the United States, is USAT there saying this is okay or not? Like, I just don't know.
What's the point of having someone sanction or not sanction if you're going to be able to go ahead with it anyway? Like, that's what I don't get.
So I'm wondering,
why do they have
repercussions for
that?
I don't know.
I think, and this is my just guess, so whatever. But I think if it's like USAT sanctioning, like that just provides like USAT will insure your event.
Yeah.
And so you're protected. But what I've read was that since it's an Ironman event, like they have their own insurance anyway, so
they don't have
they
to
don't really have to rely on the
So why do they
sanctioning
make me get USAT day?
Good
if a
question.
membership to USAT,
Mhm.
Yeah. I want my $15 back.
right? Or right? Like, what's the point of
It's
having
a racket.
Yeah.
But and there's also controversy. They said Ironman responded to that whole thing that Triathlon in Ireland didn't sanction it. They said no one said anything to them until after the swim.
Right, I read that too, that they didn't say anything until after the swim started.
So this seems like a total cluster.
Yeah.
So the CO leaving, like, it's like,
What'd you say?
Escándalo.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
escándalo.
Yes, scandal.
Ah.
You couldn't figure that out? I don't speak Spanish, and I was able to put two and two together. No, okay.
Okay.
Move on. This isn't good radio.
No hablo español.
I saw Did you guys see pictures of like the swim?
saw the
the
video.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Crazy.
I saw that.
I'd be like, nope.
Yeah, same.
I
I'd be
was
like, no,
like,
I'm not getting in.
Wow, did they do a mass start? Because the way it looked,
It looks
was
like
just.
it is.
I was like,
Yes.
man, they're doing an open ocean swim and they're going back to a mass start. Like, okay, Ironman hasn't done one of those since pre-COVID. Interesting choice of places to try it out.
Right, with those conditions.
But
Crazy.
apparently, James, from like some of the stuff you found online, like that wasn't really the case. It was just that people were so slow moving into the water
Just
that
pulling them
everything got
back.
backed up. And
Yeah. So like people's account were that the first 200 or the first 300 meters, it took them 20 minutes to swim that. And then the rest of the race took 15 minutes. And I think it was 0.8 miles. So I think that's like, is that 1,900 meters, I think?
No, that's way less.
No.
That's
1,900 meters is the
That's
full
a full
distance.
mile.
The full
Okay, so
1.2.
Whatever the math is, 16.
So it's a
or-
quarter of 19. Yeah, it's like 1,500 or
So-
1,200.
So even if it's 1,200, like so if you did 320 minutes and then 900 took you 15, like that just
Yeah.
shows how bad the current was. And so they said
And
what you saw, those waves, was not even the worst part. They said once
Right,
you
'cause I
cleared
was-
those waves,
Yeah,
They
I was
said-
going to say, looking at those waves, that did not look to a point where I would be too concerned with. Now you're probably not on a sandy entry. You know, it's not like the Jersey Shore where it's a little bit more predictable where your feet are going to be and stuff. But like those waves wouldn't make me question. Like
really?
it looked like the beach.
they're big though. Those are big waves.
You know,
Yeah.
waves always look smaller on video.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're also like,
I don't know.
Hey, that's
You-
possible.
it's Greg's
Nemo, you
perspective
can't
at
talk-
6'2", and then like
You
your
call me
perspective.
Nemo?
I did.
Come on, can we cook a better fish than Nemo?
The one
I
little
mean,
fin.
Yeah.
that was pretty rough. It was, yeah.
Well, because people also, there was commenting like a lot of people weren't trying to swim under the waves. Like they were just like
You could
bobbing
see
on
them
top.
going in, and then the wave would come, and everybody would just come right back.
So, okay. So obviously this is a terrible situation. Like it seems like one of them legitimately drowned and the other
Yeah.
had probably a
Yeah.
cardiac event, which is becoming more and more common. It seems like people are having these kind of like undiagnosed cardiac issues. And then you get into either cold or a stressful situation in the water, and it has nothing to do with your swimming ability. Just, you know, what you go into VFib or something like that, and the lights go out, and
Ugh.
at that point, there's almost nothing that can be done unless there's somebody literally right next to you. I read one person who was a swiftwater rescue expert and like an ER nurse, and they said that if that was the case, the person was dead before the water got in their lungs. Like it wasn't even
Oh, wow.
because of a cardiac, if it was
Yeah.
a cardiac event.
How did they even have support in that race? Like if you were on a kayak,
Right.
like
Right. So that was kind of going to be my question to you guys is you've got two situations here, right? Like Ironman has a responsibility to the people who are signing up for their races to provide them with reasonably safe conditions to execute a race in, right? So where does Ironman's responsibilities end? And where does it come down to individual responsibility to say, I'm not comfortable going into this situation? You know, like I know that one of these people was an experienced Ironman athlete. Like
I know the 60-year-old guy definitely was.
Right.
Like this wasn't his first.
Right.
He had done a
I
bunch.
want to say this was his
He did the
10th
Boston
or something
Marathon.
Is
like
he
that.
the drowning or the cardiac arrest?
I don't know.
We should have done more research.
Probably should have dug into
Mhm.
that more. But like, people sign up for these races, and like, I guarantee you there are people on that start line who hadn't practiced swimming in the ocean.
Waves like that for sure not.
Right.
Not even open water too.
Yeah.
Some people go into these.
Right.
Well-
There are some people who go into it pool to this. And like, that's, I don't want to talk about somebody who's dead but like, where does that individual responsibility fit into this? Like, if you sign up for a race that like, Ireland isn't known for their calm, relaxing waters, like it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean in rough conditions. Like, where does your individual responsibility start to be prepared for that situation? Like, and where does Ironman's responsibility to say, like, nope, this was too rough? Like, because
You should
Well, if you
know.
had how
Yeah.
many participants, and not to again minimize what happened,
Mhm.
but if there were 2 people, one might have been before that they even entered
Right.
the water. That's not a big,
right, that's not
really on
loss.
Ironman.
That's not on Ironman.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm not an experienced swimmer, but I do know that when I go into open water or anytime I go into these things, there's that question in my mind where I'm like, is it just me? Am I going through this panic? Is there
Mhm.
something wrong? Like, is there some? The only thing I can somewhat relate to is when I did Wyckoff, and when I was swimming, I'm like, wow, this is really hard. I'm really struggling. I don't know what's going on. And it wasn't until I got out that other people were saying, oh yeah, that was a really hard swim. That was,
Mhm.
more difficult than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, one, you're like, you're chalking it up to nerves. You're like, oh, something doesn't look right. But no, you're just psyching yourself out.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I truly was prepared and knew what I was signing up for, I would have given it a go and been like, I probably would have been like, wow, I really suck today because I'm
Mhm.
not getting through this, because you just can't. That's what I don't like about the swimming part, because you can't just like say, hey, you doing all right over there? I'm kind
Right.
of struggling
Yeah.
over here.
Right.
You're just in it and you're trying to get
Yeah.
out of it. And you don't really know until you're out of it that you're like, wow, that wasn't just hard for me. That was hard for everybody.
Yeah.
And different from swimming, but like when I was in Mont Tremblant, when I walked out of my hotel, I was like, this is like really bad. There's a lot of smoke and I probably shouldn't do this race, but I
Sign
was
me
going to
up.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was there and I was like, yeah, it's a bad idea, but
That's what I was going to bring up. I
Yeah.
think where the responsibility is, I think when you sign up and you show up for race day, like you kind of trust that they'll
They're
make the decision
correct.
for you. And so
Yeah.
whatever they decide is like, all right,
this must be
it
okay.
might not be true, but you're going to assume, all right, if they're letting this happen, it must be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And
you
now-
also compound, like you've been training for X amount of
Right.
months. You don't want to back out now.
Right.
Right.
So like you're kind of stuck in the herd, and like if everyone else is doing it, then I
That's
should
it.
just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you just get stuck. Like you're not really thinking, because now on race day you may not be thinking.
It's
clearly.
100% like that. And you look around, you're like, well, everyone else is here, so
Yeah.
I guess it's just me, and it's not that bad, and
Yeah.
all those things.
And if you turned around and said, I'm not going to do it, would Ironman honor any type of
Oh, no.
deferral?
No.
So it's
No.
like, if they're saying the show is on, it's a big investment. I mean, you've invested your time, you've invested your money, you've invested everything to get up to this day. The last thing that you're going to do is say, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
So I think it would be up to, like Ironman would have to tell you it's not safe. We're cutting the swim.
Yeah.
For you to not do the swim, but if they leave it up to you,
Now,
everyone's
where-
making that
okay.
herd decision.
So I agree with you guys, everything you guys have said. Where then does that line need to be? Well, actually, I've got 2 questions. So let me get to the first, probably easier one. When you go into the water, who do you feel like there's somebody there to save you if need be?
Not even thinking about it.
no, me neither.
Okay. Yeah, I don't either. And I'm like when I go into the water, when I go into any race, really, like any part of it, I'm like, I need to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. James, I'm sure you've thought of it.
Not really, but now
No?
you've kind of unlocked another fear. I'm like,
No,
I've never really thought about that, but
there are paddle boards and there are kayaks and there are
Like, I
people.
know there's
I feel
people
like they're just
out
there to
there.
yell at me.
Yeah.
But I don't look to them, and part of this is because I'm comfortable in the water. I don't look at that as like realistically even a viable option.
I don't even look at them. Like I
don't
remember
either.
when we did, I forget which race. I think the first one we did, and you and Rich were like, "Yeah, there were a lot of boats out there," and I was like, "There were." I don't even.
Right.
I wasn't even paying attention to them.
Yeah. So I think I kind of wonder where most people's mindset is on that. Like, do people go into races like this, maybe lacking in their swimming ability, and saying like, "Well, if something bad happens, there's Ironman will be there to help me."
Yeah.
And because I don't think that
seems
that's
very naive.
really
Yeah,
right.
that
I think
is.
that's very naive. Okay.
I feel like if I thought that, I would panic more because I would think that there's like an out. But when I go in, it's like, all right, it's you and it's this however distance I have, and let's go. Let's do it. I mean, even when I'm out there and there's always a moment where I'm probably like the first 5 minutes and I'm like, oh, this is bad. It takes me a minute to just be like, all right, let's get through this initial, feeling and panic. But yeah, I'm just like, all right, well, what are you going to do? Like, let's go, let's do this. And then you just kind of get through it.
In those conditions, those boats weren't seeing everybody.
Right.
Yeah, it can't be. It's impossible.
Like they were having to survive probably too.
Yeah, exactly.
So then my second question is, if Ironman has a responsibility to provide for, let's call it a safe race, what is their lowest common denominator and who are they providing that safe race for? Because like, sorry, you guys said like, you looked at those pictures and were like, that looked horrible. And I looked at them and I was like, that looked like a day at the Jersey Shore. Right?
Yeah.
So
Greg is like, finally some action.
Like it wouldn't have been fun, but like
Greg would have body surfed the wave in on the way back. Like,
there's a great clip on a Super League thing. They're in Malibu and somebody does that and like passes like 6 people riding a wave and it's great.
God.
But like, so who does Ironman cater? Or not cater, that's not the right word. But do you know what I'm kind of saying?
Like yeah,
when they
the lowest
say,
common denominator.
Right, when they say like, we're going to cancel this swim or we're going to cut this swim down, who's the person that they're making that decision for, first off?
The weakest.
But then second off,
ooh, how do they know who the weakest is?
does that then mean that there should be a cutoff
you
or
are
a
signing up.
qualification procedure for like
To make
if you
it
say
They're like, Yvonne, go out there. Let's see if she comes back.
And then we're like, ooh, if
she
Yvonne can
doesn't
do it, anyone can do it.
Exactly.
All right, she made it. Race is on.
Or she didn't make it.
Canceling the swim today, guys.
But you kind of get what I'm saying. Like if like the cutoff for an Ironman swim is 2 hours
2
and
hours.
10 minutes.
Oh, for full?
For a full. I think it's 2:10. Okay. So I don't know what that works out to per 100, but like if they're making the decision for that person who is able to make the cutoff, and they're saying, well, this is not safe for that level of swimmer. Should you need to prove to Ironman that you can do that before you sign up for that race?
Do you sign a waiver? You sign a waiver when you sign up.
So then that means like, so then that brings it back, like where does Ironman's
I guess
responsibility?
what you're
You know what I'm
saying,
saying?
they don't have
I gotta-
responsibility because you sign a waiver. I don't know what it says.
I
Does
have
anybody?
to put my Rich Flom hat on
Oh
as a
boy,
risk
you get to play
analyst.
both sides.
No, as the risk
I won't
analyst.
say
Yeah.
what kind of hat it will be, but
The answer would be they would have to look at like how much litigation would they open themselves up to
Mhm.
for green lighting. Is that a word?
Yeah.
A race that they knew was dangerous. So like whatever
But
the
then
bell
where does
curve
that
is,
stop?
I don't know. But
Every swim is
everyone
dangerous.
like they all have like
That's
a.
what I was
I mean,
gonna
we're gonna,
say.
But it's more dangerous
We're gonna talk
than-
about it, but somebody died at World Championships in a lake
Yeah, exactly.
at the end of the summer. Like that's as warm as that lake gets.
And it's not because of the water. They had some sort of probably underlying issue.
But I think they would look at it as if there's a paper trail given to them of like someone advising do not do this race, then they have to say, all right, then this many people may die, and then this is
so there's
how
an
much.
actuary running those
Yes,
numbers. For
I
them.
think so. There has to be.
Okay,
So
that doesn't make me feel very warm inside.
everything comes down to money, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're going to do. And so apparently they ran the numbers on that race, and it wasn't going to be enough to
Right.
Huh, you think?
open them up to anything.
Do you think if the swim was canceled that day, that there would be more people pissed that
Pissed?
it was canceled?
Yes.
You think?
Litigating? No.
Right.
Right? Because now you absolutely have at minimum of 2 lawsuits, big lawsuits wrongful death lawsuits on your hands. And then,
Is it wrongful death because of the
I don't know.
conditions?
I don't know.
Like if
They
it
would have
comes,
to. They would have to
neglect.
prove that it was in fact not sanctioned, and that that they didn't. That they should have not held it because of that.
Right.
I guess
In order
to be
to
continued.
be.
Yeah, I don't think this is not the end of it. But like it was like it just makes me wonder, like you're swimming in a large open body of water. There's an inherent risk there that you signing up for need to be aware of. And you need to do your job personally to be prepared for that as much as possible. Like if you are going from the pool to the North Atlantic with nothing in between, like you didn't do a good job preparing for that. Now, I'm not saying that either of these people did that. But then Ironman also has a responsibility to make sure if it's like they know what normal looks like for that area. You can expect that, normal conditions, and maybe you get lucky and get a great day, but normal, like if it's outside of normal, what do you do? Do you cancel? Do you shorten? Whatever. Did they do that in this case? I don't know, but like it's a tough.
I wonder what it normally looks like there.
Yeah.
I think they should bring buoys, make them legal, swim buoys.
That wouldn't be the
In
worst.
those conditions, it would be a disaster. The buoys would be
Buoys
like
everywhere.
all over
People
the
getting hit by
place.
buoys and arms.
It'd be a
like-
mess.
It would make me feel better
Yeah.
though.
I
A
mean, the
little security
entire
blanket.
the entire race is not normal by normal standards.
Yes, you're right.
You're putting yourself through.
But what I'm saying is like you sign up for this race. You sign up for Ironman Ireland. You're
Yeah.
not signing up for Ironman Cozumel, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then getting shuttled to the North Atlantic by
Yeah.
accident. Like what normal for there looks like. Like
Or
I
you
think
should.
I
Like
think
how long have we been deliberating what race we're going to do because of the conditions and this and that? So you
So,
think
like,
that
let's
for
say
sure.
everyone
I don't
who
know if
signed
they
up-
by the
have.
time we sign up, I'm going to know what those
that's what I'm
conditions
saying.
are.
So
So, like,
you
let's
think
assume
people
that
have-
everyone that signs up there is expecting the conditions that were there.
Yeah, that are normal for there.
Yeah, even a little
Mhm.
outside of that
Sure.
normal. So in that respect, would you say that this is chalked up to just an unfortunate circumstance from this race, just like everybody, like,
Mhm.
we've run in extreme temperatures, they have races all over
Mhm.
the country and the world that get super hot, and
Yep.
people, they unfortunately succumb to whatever elements
Right.
that are
Heat exhaustion
outside
or
of their
something like heat
body
stroke.
that
Right.
day for whatever
Yeah.
reason. So it's like, is there any difference?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, are these kind of like, it seems like every time you hear like, oh, Ironman, whatever happened this weekend, there was a swim death. Like, are these kind of deaths happening in regular open water swimming? Or are the people who go to regular open water swims more
Well, there was a
comfortable in the water? Are they not racing in these conditions?
death
I don't
locally,
know.
wasn't there? Like, even in a shorter,
A lot of these things are heart conditions.
And it
Yeah.
always seems to be in the swim,
yeah.
right? You don't hear.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a heart attack on the bike, I feel like there's a much better chance that you're not going to drown, like on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
chance for rescue seems much higher if you
True.
collapse on the bike or the
I mean,
run.
there was an unfortunate death in the pool, wasn't there, at like Lifetime locally?
Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
Where the gentleman was swimming after hours and he had a cardiac arrest and drowned
Hmm.
And
in the
that's
pool,
also-
and that was in a 25-meter
Right.
pool. So, I mean, unfortunately,
Yeah.
conditions aside.
That's what other Greg told me at Bethany. He said, since he's a lifeguard, he said it's never saving someone from drowning. It's
Mhm.
always a cardiac
Right.
event.
And I don't know if the water somehow exacerbates that issue and brings it to light and causes it to happen. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's the case, then Ironman really can't.
They can't do
They
anything
can't do
about
anything
it
about
because it doesn't matter. That maybe would have happened no matter what the conditions
Yeah,
were.
Right.
I guess they look at the number of participants and then the percentage of people that this happens, and then it's like, does it track with the normal population
Mhm.
and that occurrence of
Yeah.
whatever underlying conditions?
I think they definitely could have done better because
it looks
Alternate-
it
like-
looks bad on them. Like
Yeah.
that we can.
Greg may be right in that if nobody had
a
died
good
on that
sound,
swim,
isn't it?
I mean, I
Greg
hate
may
it when
be
I
right.
say it all the time.
Love
but
hearing
Put it on
stuff.
a
if
replay.
if
the
nobody
next
would have
button.
died, we wouldn't be talking about the swim
Exactly.
at Ironman Ireland
No.
and how
Yeah.
bad it was.
They would be like warriors for
Warriors.
That- it wouldn't
surviving
even
it.
it wouldn't be a thing. Like
Yeah.
it would just be like, yeah, Ironman.
I mean, on
Ironman
a smaller
happened.
scale, I remember you and Tim had done that Navy
Oh yeah, the
sink or
swim.
swim.
Oh, Navasink, yeah.
Navasink, whatever.
Yeah, but that was just rainy and cold.
But I thought it was pretty bad out there in general now.
No, it's in a bay or kind of a river.
It's on
Okay.
Greg's scale.
No, it was very cold. It was like 42 degrees and rainy and the water was not very warm. I did a open ocean swim, a 2.4 mile open ocean swim down in Cape May a couple of years ago, and that was a very rough.
Yeah.
We had like 4 to 5 foot waves breaking on the beach.
Yeah.
And like we got directions like just be careful. You
Yeah.
know, if you get tough, it's like if you're having trouble, just swim in the shore. There was there was a boat with the leaders who were, quite a ways up in front, but no other. There were 7 buoys on the whole 2.4
geez.
mile course. Like you got out there and you were getting tossed around, and like some people got motion sick, but that was the worst I heard of it.
So I think what makes this whole thing like the controversy is that because people died, when they found out that they did have an alternate swim route planned, and then they didn't use it, and they had to reroute people during the event.
Nice.
That's what looks bad.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean-
I think that's they second guessed themselves.
Mhm.
I couldn't even imagine being rerouted during a swim. I barely
Right.
know where
I-
I'm going when
I
I know
don't-
I wouldn't
where
even seen the person.
swim
I
is.
don't
I
know
would've
if I
just-
believe them.
I would have just kept going.
Right.
I'd be like, what?
I don't know if I'd believe somebody telling me that
Right,
in the middle of a
also.
race.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear when I'm swimming and my head is underwater. When I hear, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," I'm like,
Yeah.
something's happening and I have no idea what's going on, and nor am I stopping to find out what's going on. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of barreling through and just hoping that it's over soon. They could be telling me a shark's behind me. They could be
They're
telling
cheering.
me.
They're cheering for you. They're cheering for you.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm really killing this swim right now. And they're like, you're going the wrong way. Or like, there's a
That already happened.
type of tsunami happening behind me. And I would just be like, just keep swimming.
Yeah.
But, our thoughts to the families of those who
Yeah.
did not survive. And it's
Yeah.
a shame that it happened.
Right. And it seems like it's happening frequently,
It is. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still like thinking about what you said before this, though. What's going on with
Left you
water quality?
traumatized.
The water quality issues.
James is worried now.
Like all these races, like that's like the one that.
Well, Paris is not a surprise
right.
because
That's a dirty ass river.
yeah, it's dirty.
But everywhere it
And
seems to be
I was
water quality
listening-
issues.
I was listening to a podcast. I think it was this morning. World Triathlon, who runs like all the short course stuff and the Olympic distance stuff. They have a cutoff for fecal coliforms in the water of like 200. Sorry, E. coli count. It's like 250. They raised it to 500 for this race.
My God.
And they
No.
still went over it for the mixed relay, and that's what caused them to cancel it. So I don't know what it was the day of the men's and women's race, but like that was a concern going into Tokyo Olympics. Also, was the water quality, and they did all kinds. I think they had like some technology going to try and clean the water and stuff like that.
Is it all the heavy rains this year?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that rain is not good, especially in like a city like that where it can just everything's on a hard surface and can get washed in. It's a big problem. And
I feel like I'd be more annoyed with that than the call at Ireland, because with water quality, like that's just nasty.
preventable. Like if they took a measurement and they
Yeah.
knew.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, then it's just a money thing.
Springs
People
up
are still
Yeah.
skeptical. Like they still talk about, can this even happen for the Olympics because
Mhm.
of that?
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. If they have to cancel it in the Olympics, that's
Yeah, you have to cancel the swim in the Olympics.
Yeah.
That would be.
a big.
What do they do?
a big
Like a
thing.
duathlon?
They do a
or-
duathlon,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what they did for the mixed team relay. They had a run, bike, run.
So then the swimmer has to run.
Well, so mixed team relay is actually all 4 people do their own mini triathlon.
Oh.
and then they hand off and do the next one. So each person did their own.
Oh, does their
duathlon.
own.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you guys enjoy hot tubs?
Yes.
I
And
think
walks on the beach.
I do, but I don't think I'm gonna after this.
Yeah. What are you
going
going to say about it?
So I was sent a clip on Instagram from somebody, and it was a doctor, and I think he worked, either it was his account of somebody he heard, or maybe he works with like very obese patients and stuff.
Mhm.
And so there's someone who's so huge that basically they can't wipe. They're so big they can't
Oh, no.
wipe themselves after defecating.
Spoiler
And
alert.
so they ask, well, how do you keep yourself clean?
No,
tubs?
no.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week.
That's it?
Makes his way down to
Oh.
like
Local-
24-hour fitness or something. Or
Oh,
no.
goes in the hot tub and lets the jet do all the cleaning.
The heavy scrubbing.
Yes.
The Jets take care of the elbow
The
work.
Jets took care of that for him.
Wow.
I don't know if there's enough chlorine in that water.
No,
Oh,
the
wow.
answer is no. There's not.
No, there's never enough.
Just be cautious.
I feel like the angle though that you'd have to get to
You probably noticed something weird.
some type of spreading.
Yeah.
Because like
Right,
if you're
especially if they're a big person.
Yeah.
like
I don't
that.
want to. Yeah, I don't want to fat shame people, but like if you see some like 600-pound person,
but like because
Getting
they
into
would
the
hit their
hot tub,
back,
you know,
like they would have
Maybe
to be
ask for a little
leaning
extra
over.
shock in the
or I mean,
after.
get out. Number one,
I don't buy it.
Oh
No,
my
because you'd have to like
I'll send you guys a clip.
Clearly,
No,
they
please
don't
don't.
care that
My
much. Yvonne.
my algorithm does not
Well,
need
wait
that.
a week before they go. They don't really.
Well, I think because they're so
if
big,
you're
it's hard to
sitting-
It
get
only
out.
has to get a little clean.
I guess so. Because
Oh,
if you're
God.
sitting, like your butt is like down, so you'd have to like.
Do you think
up.
they care that much?
Oh
That's
my
the thing. It's like they're so big they can't wipe, and they can't get around easily. So like has to wait like a week or maybe if not more. I'll
We
have
have to cut this part out.
We got to be careful.
No.
We might get canceled
Yeah.
for this.
I was I thought about
Yeah,
fecal,
thanks.
fecal chloroforms or
Fecal coliforms.
coliforms.
You would think a bunch of obese people are like just waiting
Taking
in
a
the
dip in the
river
Seine.
of Paris.
No,
You were in Paris recently, Marilyn.
I
Did you
was.
see any
I know. And I
oddities like
did
that
not
happening?
swim.
That was probably a good choice.
Bathers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't make
Okay.
your any deposits yourself, did you?
No.
Was that the last time you felt clean? In Paris.
In Paris.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
We
And-
were staying in Paris.
Yeah.
Resume. Little chain
I'm glad.
smokers.
If we go down,
That's what they were talking
we
about.
go down together.
Going down
Oh, careful here.
down to Dirty Town.
I make that like
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
That might not make the final cut.
All right.
No. What's next?
yeah,
Lionel.
Lionel.
good old Lionel.
Poor
Poor
Lionel.
Lionel. Oh my gosh.
This guy's a news story. Just like I don't know. All
Poor
right.
guy.
So go ahead. Somebody give the
Is he
synopsis.
like the Connor of
Who's
what's
Connor?
Who's Connor?
The
Conor McGregor.
Connor McGregor of the Tri World.
I
don't
know
know
who
who that
Conor
is.
McGregor is, but I don't know his story. Like I don't.
No, I don't know. Just
Loud, boisterous,
Yeah.
kind of
No,
transcends the
no,
sport.
Lionel's nice.
Oh, is he?
I think
Comes
so.
off.
I don't know. I heard he had some words about. They thought it was some type of like.
Well, somebody give a what happened. Lionel Sanders
What was this?
at World
Yeah,
Championships.
it's World Champions,
Yeah,
right? So
today's Monday. Yesterday.
he
Mhm.
said 70 kilometers into, is it 90 kilometers total?
Yeah.
He gets a red card from a referee on the course. Well, first he doesn't know exactly he gets pulled over by the referee or something.
He gets
After-
he gets shown a red card
so-
after he passed like 3
Mhm.
other cyclists.
and the red card is a DQ.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so he doesn't know why. And then he said, because you crossed over the middle line. And then it's like a narrow road.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like he said, and there is no line. And then the referee said, well, the imaginary line.
Right.
And so apparently there's no rule about imaginary lines. I don't know. I didn't,
Did you do some research, Marilyn?
did.
because I did reference some rule.
Hold on. I have the rule. although the rule does not mention
5.01D applies only to painted lines.
Solid lines, right?
Yeah. No mention
So,
of an imaginary line.
They say, in no case can a cyclist, don't make fun of me, cross a solid yellow line indicating a no passing zone unless specifically directed to by a race referee or race official with actual authority. 30-second time penalty as applicable or depending upon severity of violation, DQ. So it doesn't say anything about a imaginary line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's imaginary.
Right.
And was that road? I don't know. I thought I read something. It may not have even been a two-way road.
I read that also.
It was
and
just
that's
a one-way.
It might have been like a one-way lane.
Yeah.
Where like.
Now, I think more interesting, there is video of Christian passing over an actual line.
Yeah. With I think an official nearby or something, right?
I don't know if there was that part. I don't know. But he there's an actual line and he crosses over and then comes back.
I didn't know that was a rule.
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have crossed the yellow line.
You might have to send a letter in automatically.
And can we say these are
yourself.
closed course?
Right. This was a completely closed course.
But what was the imaginary line?
So what I think it is,
midpoint.
The
midpoint of the road. The official is saying you went into the other side of the road, and it's crazy. Like, Marilyn reading the rule, like it's up to the official's discretion whether it's a 30-second penalty or a disqualification.
Right.
Like, holy shit, that's a wide range of
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, somebody makes a weird move and you get pushed, you know, they can use their discretion and say, okay, that's not, I'm not even going to.
Just incidental.
Right. It's incidental. It wasn't to gain an advantage, whatever.
But if you're like playing chicken with oncoming traffic, weaving in and out, like.
If you're being dangerous, sure. But like, if there's not a line there, and I don't think you can even, like, protest a ruling like that.
Oh, you can.
You did.
You asked. So when you get that, you're actually given the opportunity to finish your race.
Yep.
And then you could protest it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently he was told at the penalty tent.
Well, he didn't have to stop at the penalty tent. He stopped. And then I guess by that point he lost so much time that he kind of did finish, but he was kind of like not.
Was done already.
Yeah, he wasn't really trying. I think he said also like mentally he just.
Right. Mentally it's got to be.
Yeah.
You can't at that level.
Mm-hmm.
They're going so hard for so long that any little doubt creeps in. You're going to not be able to push yourself.
Right.
But I mean,
you say he's a nice guy, but he's very intense.
Yeah.
Does he rub people the wrong way?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a feeling either way for him. I feel like he's holding on. I feel like he's being left behind in the sport a little bit.
He's older, right?
Yeah, he's older.
He's had his time. I think his time's passing.
And I think he's still holding on, you know, and still wants to be part of the conversation, but isn't quite there. I mean, he can still win. Like he's winning races just at the biggest level. He's not a good enough swimmer is what it comes down to. He's coming out of the water minutes behind.
Feel his pain.
Yeah,
he could retire like my guy Jan.
I'm just like him.
I think one of the biggest things that I saw when I was looking into this was that the inconsistencies of the officials of what they can and cannot.
Even like this one, it's very, you know, it's up to his opinion. So
it's an imaginary line.
Right. And one of the things that and I mean, you can't fix the imaginary line.
Escándalo.
You almost got it.
At PTO events, they have this cool thing called Race Ranger for the drafting. And so each athlete has a little radar unit on their bike, kind of like the ones we have behind ours. And it's color coded, right? So if they get within the draft zone, it turns one color. Once they're a meter or two outside of it, it's another color. And once they're further than that, it's a different color. Yeah. I don't remember what the colors are. I think it's like yellow, green, and red, maybe. But whatever.
Well, I thought it was interesting, this sidebar, that they actually use athletes, from at least one person's account, they use it to see like how well they're doing. Like if they can't even get into 100%. Yellow, like red is no good, but if they're in yellow, they're happy. Like
right, because they're
able to hang on.
Because we've talked about kind of the tactics of this before. If if we're all riding and we're all at exactly whatever the legal distance is, Ironman is 12 meters. So if we're all at exactly 12 meters and Yvonne's at the back of that line of 4 people and she wants to pass me, who's in 3rd place, but I'm 12 meters from Marilyn, who's 12 meters from James, you have to pass all of us in one go. You're allowed 25 what is it, 25 seconds?
Yeah.
Per person, but you still have to pass us all in one go. You're not allowed to slot into the line. If I'm 15 meters behind Marilyn, you're allowed to come in. As soon as you pass me, I have to drop back and you can slot into that spot because there's room for you there. So using that race ranger to kind of make sure you're exactly there, it means anybody who wants to pass you has to pass the person in front and person in front of that.
And that's what happened to Lionel.
Yeah.
And I think he waited for like a turn or something.
I like how your example, I was in the front.
I did not like the example.
But you were passing us all.
So you were talking about in PTO, they have
that. They are not using that in Ironman stuff. Now, that wouldn't have changed the Lionel thing. Like, you know.
But it makes it a clear cut. It's not a judgment call.
It's not a judgment call. And I mean, I watched the women's race more than I didn't watch very much of the men's race. But the women's race, that they had a penalty tent. And when they switched to the penalty tent as the pro women came through, there were like 7 or 8 women in the penalty tent because of drafting penalties. And it's like, well, how many of those are judgment calls? They're all judgment calls. How many of them are blatant drafting? How many of them are just, they were coming down a hill and going into an uphill and everybody crunches together and that just happens. It's just not fair, you know? So the race ranger, at least once the athletes are aware of it, they're going to do everything in their power to not break the rules. So same thing with Lionel. Like if there was a line there, you're damn sure he's not going to pass it. That's a very common like they know that rule. But if it's a one-way road or even a road with no center line, like unless, and I mean, he said it, I haven't heard anybody else come out and say that like in the briefing, if they're going to call that, they need to tell the people that ahead of time.
He says they didn't, and it's not in the rules anywhere. It doesn't specifically say if there's no line.
Yep.
So
yeah, make your own.
That's why there's rumors swirling. Is there some sort of beef between Ironman and Lionel Sanders?
Well, now he says he'll never race Ironman again.
So. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
That was in some of the latest articles. He's vowed never to do an Ironman race again.
And how does that affect Ironman?
It doesn't.
There's plenty of big names. I mean, shoot, did you guys see the top 10 of the men's world champion?
I didn't recognize a single name.
I recognize one. The guy who came in second, I've heard of Frederick Funk.
They're all European, though.
Frederick Funk.
Oh.
They're all already.
But yeah, they're all
never heard of them.
Brand new names.
But they're all Europeans.
3 Germans on the top of the podium.
Germans all won.
Yeah. So like they don't need Lionel.
Right.
I don't know that Lionel needs Ironman either. He's
probably doing well. There's so many new names coming up. So
here's a wild conspiracy theory.
Great. Let's hear it.
I just came up with it right now.
Yeah, of course.
What if this is like blowback from the whole PED thing? What if he's involved with
Colin Chartier?
Yeah, and this is a way of just ousting him.
So you think Ironman's got
they know.
info
Why
or
would they
intel,
do that though?
But they would not like a positive test. So they're like, we got to screw him over, get him out.
You think?
Escándalo.
We need a button with a lot of reverb and echo.
Yeah.
Escándalo.
I like the escándalo.
I wonder what I have some fun effects on this.
There's got to be.
Well, I was gonna make it like into this chipmunk voice. We've heard that one.
Recorded.
Do you want to be a large robot when you say it? Hold on.
Sure.
Large. I mean, escándalo.
How about a small robot?
Escándalo. Escándalo. I like that one. Yeah, that's the best one. We should do this whole thing with these voices. The whole show. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
That was amazing.
Yours would have been the highest, though.
Yeah, can we hear Marilyn?
No.
Come on.
Okay.
Hello. That's all we got. Don't be shy. That's all you're getting.
It's like a mouse smoking a 6-pack. That was amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's
That is a conspiracy theory, James. You should
That
throw that
could
out
be.
on
That's a good
Just
one.
put that on Reddit.
Yeah.
and it didn't seem like there was a lot of backlash other than him saying he wasn't doing it anymore. He seemed to like bow out gracefully. So that's also what's
And then Iron Man's like, perfect.
interesting.
It worked.
Like he's
Yeah.
like,
You just
know
thought
what?
of that now?
I did.
Impressive.
Yeah. I
Sometimes,
would have
you know,
never put those
what do they
together.
say? A blind
Yeah.
squirrel finds a nut
Yeah.
every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Found my nut.
Good for you, man.
Mhm.
I was thinking though about this when I saw this was one of the topics. Like some of the penalty and DQ like area zones that
Yeah.
people don't know about, because that's I think like the first time I did a race, I was like, wait a minute, I have to like think about rules
Mm-hmm.
and things that I just didn't even know to think about.
I just ride past them. Like when they wave at me, I just keep going.
Yeah.
wait, who?
I don't think I've ever seen
The guys in the
somebody
tent.
I've never seen
Oh,
one.
the
seen
cards?
anybody in a penalty tent.
Yeah,
Have
me
you?
neither.
I think I saw him at AC.
Saw the tents, but
really?
did you see
I saw the tent.
like,
And
I think I saw
somebody in
people.
it?
Yeah.
people with them?
Mhm.
Like regular people, like
I don't know. I mean,
age groupers, not.
I think they all pass us.
I know. That's what I
Um,
always figure.
Yeah, it's a tough.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw him at AC.
Okay.
And then I was nervous as I was passing by. Like, are they gonna? I didn't do anything, but I just thought, are they gonna tell me to stop there too?
Well, we
Yeah.
had a DQ at PV Try.
Yes,
did.
we
We
did.
did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No helmet. Guy got on the bike, told me his hat was good enough.
Mm-hmm. I asked him. He said he did not have a helmet.
Yeah, we
That's
won't.
a big one.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you could die.
Right.
Right.
That's a pretty.
Yeah.
that's
We're
a
trying to
pretty
keep
easy one.
Yeah, we don't want
fatalities
this
to
to
zero.
happen. Right.
Yes.
Party poopers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goal number 1:
Mhm.
0 fatalities.
And even the chin strap being
Mhm.
Right.
buckled. Like,
Undone.
it's got to
Yeah.
be on.
Before you do anything with your
before
bike.
Anything. And
Mhm.
until the bike is placed back
Mhm.
completely.
Mm-hmm.
I should have been DQ'd for an unzippered jersey.
too.
At
I
the
had-
I
finish
think
line.
everyone
Was
I
it
had
all the
that
way unzippered?
No.
Oh, then you're okay.
Oh,
Oh,
it just
really?
came. Oh, I thought it was like even,
Because that happened.
That happened to
I heard
someone. Who
somebody.
did that happen
Where
to?
was- I forget the
I just
guy's
saw
name.
that.
He was DQ'd.
Yes.
He ran, and it's only across the finish line.
Right.
Mhm.
You can do whatever you want during the race. It has to be zipped.
Yeah.
And he was completely unzipped.
Yeah, that was.
But they were
recently. Who was it?
complaining
I
because a lot of people come over the finish
Mhm.
line unzipped.
Is
forgot. I
it
was unzipped at AC, but not all the way.
That's the
Everybody was
thing.
unzipped.
I
at
just
AC.
remember hearing the rule like you had to be zipped, and I remember I was like 3/4 unzipped
Yeah.
or something.
I
I remember trying to remember like, oh, remember that. But then by the
Right.
time I got there, I like totally forgot.
I think it can't be unzipped.
Can't hear my
Yeah.
headphones again.
See if
Matt
it's-
Sharp
There it is.
Matt Sharp got it.
Yes,
Mhm.
that was him.
What is the?
for undone zipper.
But what is
Mm-hmm.
the thinking? Just
I don't know. I don't know if it's a decency thing or it seems ridiculous. We're running around in
Like one of the-
spandex.
yeah,
You're
no.
not hiding anything.
I forget which race it is. Like I think it was Taylor Knibb had it all the way off the top.
Yeah, the
Then she
PTO
put it
race
on, yeah.
in Singapore, Annie
Yeah.
Haug ran
Yeah.
she pulled it down, her suit
But
down.
then they put it up at
I guess for the finish
for
line.
the finish line, which doesn't make sense because you just had it on for
Yeah,
for
the
all
bulk of the
those
whole
Well,
race.
if I
months.
was
Yeah.
a sponsor, I'd be pissed.
maybe that's
Right,
what it's
also
for. Mm.
Yeah, but you're on camera for the whole time you're running, not just.
But like
finish
all
line.
those finisher photos, like
Sure.
think about
Yeah,
like
but,
all the
like,
signage
yeah.
that's there. Like
If I'm sponsoring a pro, I want that finish line of them finishing
Yeah.
first with all of the names across it. That's
Yeah.
think about it,
But that's not what I don't think that's why Ironman does it because it's an age group rule. Like we're not sponsored.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We're
Well, we
sponsored.
are. Our new kits.
yes,
have.
I can't wait to wear. I haven't even worn it.
I know. I can't wait to
I
wear it.
did.
It's a couple weeks, 2 weeks,
Oh,
guys.
yeah, we could
Mm-hmm.
at the DQ event.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't DQ at DQ.
Did you
we
guys
even
know?
we even got the quad pod on there. So
Did you guys know Yvonne signed up?
yes.
Oh.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought you were. I didn't even realize that was
I
a question.
officially signed
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
She always makes it
nice.
into this big deal, like
Yeah.
this
Oh.
build up.
I need
Is she
some-
gonna sign up? Is she not gonna sign up?
I like to be, come on, sign up, dude.
Yeah.
I was waiting on the signed contract with UPS, so
Oh, you got that. Good.
She's got
Yep.
that sponsorship.
I got my UPS.
Oh man, we
sponsorship.
didn't put them on the kit.
Brown. What can Brown do for
Brown.
you?
Yep.
I'll show you.
You have a
I got
jacuzzi.
you.
We're not going back to the hot tub guy, right?
You have a jacuzzi. I'll show you.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Please no.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. And what other weird thing? Oh, you can't do headphones.
Yeah, no music.
No music, no cell phone.
Yeah.
Which is
You can't have outside support.
Mhm.
nope. No
No
bananas.
bananas from babies.
No bananas from babies.
Steroids.
Oh, yeah. I like the naked rule. Can't be naked.
Can't be naked.
No.
With all these things,
Nobody needs to see that.
I always wonder who was the person
Who did it?
needed to have that rule put in place.
Right.
I can tell you who.
I'm thinking of the same person.
Is it the creator of the new singles app?
Yes, that's exactly who it is.
Yeah, I can see Margo. It doesn't say in the rules you can't.
Well, I
didn't think
wonder
we
do you think that's maybe where the tri-suit zip came from? Like,
Like someone became completely unzipped by accident.
I don't know.
Oh.
Or like
I feel like there's
was showing more than Ironman felt.
But they used to race in
in Speedos.
yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you call them?
Budgie smugglers,
Budgie smugglers.
banana hammocks.
Yeah. I like the budgie
I've never
smugglers.
heard of budgie smugglers.
Yeah.
That's like an Australian thing.
like the bird budgie, like a budgie.
I don't know what's a budgie. Is that a bird?
Isn't that?
It is? Never heard of that.
I don't know. I thought it was a slang for your wang.
Oh.
Budgie, it's got balls. No?
You're smuggling something. Yeah, that's all.
I thought the budgies were those little like birds, like you feed at like they have the budgie.
Here, budgie.
I don't know.
I think it would look like a budgie smuggler.
Don't feed the budgies. Don't feed the budgies.
The budgies bite.
Don't get too close.
Don't get too close.
This episode's
Oh,
amazing.
God. Yeah.
That's what happens when we run out of the outline. The outline's
the outline's
ended.
done.
No, it's because
Like,
Rich is not here, keeping everyone
Yeah,
on.
Red. This
on
would be like,
task.
all right, guys, we've gone
Come on,
off
guys,
the rails.
let's go.
We're
Yeah.
Bring it
completely
back.
off the rails. Let's reel it back in.
Yep.
Let's reel it back
I
in,
think
guys.
so. On that note, like, I think there's better rules that there could be.
Well, okay, let's play that game. What
Yeah.
rules should there be in triathlon?
Better
Like
rules.
no
What
poop.
rules?
Like
What?
no,
No
poop,
poop.
across the line.
Who put? What do you,
What?
wait, I'm sorry.
wait.
Is this a
What
problem?
happens across the line when you cross the line?
Just
Not me.
immediate bowel evacuation.
Yeah,
As
like
you-
that one woman, didn't she like poop
That was a
herself?
Oh, to PR.
Where?
That was a
Yeah.
marathon.
But then there's
Or
also
you-
like
But how can it?
But you're allowed to pee. You
She
don't care about
clearly,
pee.
I think, even if there had been a rule, that would have happened to her.
I just feel like there should be
No
a
one
rule.
does that.
But no one
because
does
they
that on
want to.
purpose.
Well,
No,
You're
I
the
mean,
same person.
people
She
make
said
that
she-
choice,
she
right?
said
Like,
she
I'm
was a
not gonna
choice.
stop
She's
at
like,
the
I'm
porta
not
potty.
stopping.
So
Yeah, I think that should be a rule.
Yeah.
okay, I can get.
I
behind
ran
that.
behind somebody.
Don't get behind that.
That happened too. And
Oh, really?
It wasn't.
No,
yeah.
if that doesn't happen to you, you make like
I don't know.
there is
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I don't know.
You
But-
make the choice.
Do they
It was
need-
not.
does
It's
there
an
need to
image
be,
I don't want to replay.
Does there need to be a rule of like not dunking your head in the ice or something like those videos where people like
Like ice that people use.
yes
Yeah.
It's
You
gross.
only want that rule because you eat the ice.
Exactly. So after I saw the video, I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what's been in this ice? And I know how much I sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I get electrolytes in the ice.
Oh.
It doesn't soak through your skin.
Can we go back to you running behind the
That's true.
person?
Yeah. What do you want
Did
to know?
you see them go, or
Wait, where
was it
was
just
this?
on them when you saw shit on their legs?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Where
Right.
was this?
Because I'd have a different
At-
reaction.
PV try?
no. I think it was Brooklyn
Oh,
half
marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half marathon?
Wow. That's
So, like,
It's aggressive.
Because I would have had a different. Like if I had seen them and they had shit down their leg.
Like,
I'd
but
be
how do
like-
you know if they're actively doing it at that time?
like. Do you
I
see
don't
wincing?
know.
Do you see like?
Yeah, I don't know. She,
I mean, I
she
feel like
was running. I don't
I'd-
know if it was
I'd hear
happening.
noises.
It was a she.
Oh,
I'd
I
hear-
didn't wait
I'd
around
see,
for that.
Like,
Was she crying?
stuff coming down their leg, like
No.
not just
I
there.
Didn't stare. I looked and I was like, "That's disgusting."
Was she
And
wearing
I-
spandex?
No, shorts.
Shorts. Okay, so you couldn't see like a protrusion as it was happening.
Like a nugget.
If that's happening, there's not going to be a protrusion.
You weren't.
I feel like I would be like, why, God?
Right. I don't.
Like I wouldn't like just passively.
I don't
let
think
this
I cared
happen.
She was
enough
just
about my
running.
race.
She was just. It was like nothing was happening. Maybe
don't think
she
I
didn't
could-
know. I don't know.
I don't think I could
yeah.
like do that in stride. I think I would be running and then I'd be
Right.
oh my God, and then I would just like stop.
Like a little kid,
And
like
then
a little
I would
baby.
like stop dead in my tracks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and then I'd be like really ashamed. But it's just like, but I wouldn't be able to just be like
And
in my like
we
whatever
were-
pace.
I mean, there's
going.
always like the fart you can't trust, right? Like, it could be that,
That's true. That's true.
but
We were, like, in
to
a-
go
I-
down your leg
It
where
was
somebody.
like a park area, so like she could have walked off and nobody
Yeah.
would even have noticed.
Yeah. If that's happening to me, I'm pulling over to the side.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Just drop your shorts real quick. As
yeah. And I mean,
inconspicuous
like,
as
listen,
possible.
I've been on runs where you get the rumbly tummy, like on an Ironman course or a marathon. Like you have aid stations every mile.
Yeah, all the time.
Like there's
Mhm.
going to be porta potties. Like
Yeah.
you got to.
Mhm.
Is that a rule though? Like,
I guess not, but like on
isn't there a rule though? You can't like defecate
in a
like-
porta potty.
No, like on the
What they're
course.
for.
Isn't that already a rule?
On a what?
Yeah,
Like
you're
you-
not supposed. I think that is a rule.
Like you're not
On
supposed
the
to either
course?
pee or poop.
Yeah.
I don't
outside
think
of
I
a-
didn't see it as one of the rules.
No.
I mean, nobody does it on purpose, you guys. I don't
Well,
think.
like, again,
I
it's a
don't think.
choice. I think at some point you're like, all right, I'm gonna let this ride.
Yeah.
That
I
is
don't
my
know.
greatest fear though.
That's
It's
your
a
greatest
scary
fear?
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, having to
Poop.
poop myself in a race.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna go to the porta potty.
Yeah.
I should just realize that. Instead, I wake up like 2 hours earlier than I need to and just make sure.
Well, because you don't want to stop.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is my biggest fear,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
More than drowning.
More than drowning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's a big fear then. 'cause
Actually,
I feel like
the worst would be being in E. coli water, pooping myself, and then
Yeah.
drowning.
you might poop yourself after the illegal.
Oh, God. What other rules, Yvonne? That was a good one.
What other rules? I'm trying to think. Like, definitely, like when people like, I hate when I come back to transition and my stuff is
Oh.
everywhere.
Mm.
Or their stuff is everywhere.
Yeah,
That
and
I
it's just
hate.
like I definitely didn't leave it like this.
Oh, like people rummage through your stuff.
Yeah, like it's just not them rummaging, but they're just too big for their area, and either their stuff is all over the place, and then it throws my stuff all over the place, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
Just because I can't deal with it at that time, and then I just know that my stuff is all over the place, and or stuff is on my stuff, and it's just like
The pros always have those nice
Those
little
little buckets.
Rubbermaid
I know, I
bins.
love
it.
It's like got to be in the bucket.
Although I
Yeah.
was watching someone, I don't know which one of the pros at their race, and they were like rummaging through looking for their stuff. I was like, oh, that's kind of annoying.
Mhm.
I had a bucket for NJ State because of the rain. So
Mm.
I took one of those, like, I think my son had those baseball buckets
Mhm.
and it had a lid. So it was good because it kept everything dry.
Mhm.
And it worked great because I just like layered it in the order that I needed it. And I was like, this should be like my thing. I should just carry around
Bucket.
my bucket.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Put some Ironman decals on it.
It was good to just
Yeah.
like sit on. I
Mm.
didn't, but
Doubles as a bathroom.
yeah, sit on, shit in, just a bucket of all.
Bring two
needs.
buckets. Two
We're
buckets.
just going
But
down the
confuse-
tubes.
Don't
the
confuse which
longer
one.
this
Committing.
goes.
I wish drafting was legal.
Yeah.
It's a skill in itself.
It is.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want it to be legal because then you're not really doing your share. You're not really
Yeah.
working this. That wouldn't be fair.
I would
I could sit behind his wheel and
Exactly.
not even pedal for a minute.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, but then we finish and it's like, yeah, well, I
And then
didn't
you
just
just
do
take
that.
off on the run. Oh, I feel
Yeah, and that's why like when you watch the short course draft legal stuff, like I was watching the Paris test event and like the men's race was like that. They all swam together. They came out in one massive group, like all within 25 or 30 seconds. It turned into a peloton. And then they all just rode together. There was no
Yeah,
attacking. There
it's-
was no it was just they rode in and then it was a 10K race to the finish.
That's like not fun.
And it's like,
Though.
I don't know, that takes away some
Yeah.
of what I feel like the sports.
I see the
agree.
flaw too is that it opens up a lot of crash possibility.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially on tri bikes.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah, you shouldn't be drafting
Mhm.
on a tri bike. Like,
maybe just shorten that draft distance.
Why is it okay to draft, like encouraged to draft in the swim and not on the bike?
I don't know.
That's what's interesting.
Do you save as much on the swim, like in comparison?
You
I
don't save
think
as much, but I mean, it's still significant. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why.
Maybe it's harder to like keep on top of.
Well, with that many people
Yeah, it
at
would
once,
be-
like it
Yeah.
would make it like a very
can't.
hard.
Someone just grab my
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah.
Like people would have to swim a lot, like further out,
Mhm.
Yeah,
or with
yeah.
the
You
mass
could
starts.
never. Yeah,
It just seems like it's
Never.
more of like it's something you can't control.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
why?
yeah.
That's probably the answer. Is it's almost impossible to control that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't put that many people in boats.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah. It's hard like when you're riding and I know a couple of times where I'm like, oh wow, I'm like going and I'm like, wait, I think I'm drafting. let me pull back a bit or
Yeah.
go forward. You just thankfully I'm not doing anything like super competitively because if they like saw it, I'd be like, oh my God, like, it definitely wasn't intentional.
there will be a marshal out at next year's PV Tri when you try and
Okay.
defend.
I did stop myself though. Like immediately, I was like, "Oh wait, I'm not supposed to be this close." But it's hard because like some races are 2 bike lengths, some
No.
races are 3.
No races.
One was
too.
3, right?
Um,
I know one was 3 bike lengths. Bikes length.
It's usually the
I think
same.
NJ
I thought
State
it
was
was
three
6.
bikes.
6 bikes.
Yeah.
12 meters. Ironman is always 12 meters.
Yeah.
I feel like
PTO is 20. I don't know.
was the NJ State that was 3 bikes length.
I just do whatever.
I do get like a lot with all those rules. I guess I'm like a rule follower that I'm just like, oh my God, like I have to think about this.
You have to
This-
free yourself.
Yeah. Just
following
change the
rules.
effort.
Well, I think I'm always in like the bell curve area that's just always crowded. Like,
Yeah.
otherwise, I'm just like constantly having to, like, even when I pass, then like someone else passes me back. Like, it's just this
Yeah, it's a
constant. Like,
constant.
I can never get
game of
away
passing
from
or getting
anybody.
passed.
It's so annoying.
So
playing
part of me is like, I don't
leapfrog.
want to like increase my effort to get away. Like, I'm just gonna do my effort,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
that's what
the people around me do what they want to do. Like, because no one else is listening. So
Mhm.
it's like I'm not trying to
Exactly.
draft something, but I don't want to like constantly have to pass.
Yeah.
And I
Either.
won't stay directly behind somebody, but then I'll go off to the side, and then if I can, I'll pass.
Just don't cross that
And then
imaginary
cross the
line.
line.
Imaginary line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing to worry about.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The
Now,
only time I've like, I can't remember if I've actually crossed the line or I didn't, but it's because people were like 3 across blocking
Yeah.
the road.
That's what they talked. That's what they talked about in some of the articles I read about Lionel too.
Yeah.
Like
It's frustrating.
it was his only way to get around.
Yeah. Like, I don't do it to like be dangerous. It's like if 3
Right.
people are blocking the road, what are you supposed to do?
with 3 people, I'd wait. I've passed and been the third person, and every time I do it, I'm like, I should just wait. Like, but the times it's happened, I was coming up on both of those people too fast, and I was like, I'm not gonna like sit up and get on the brakes.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't. If
Yeah.
I had coasted, I still would have had to coast past them. So
I think for our realm, it's like other people understanding the rules as well, that they're supposed to pull back.
Right.
And not create
so many people
problems.
don't.
I think that's a big thing. Like
So many
as soon
people
as somebody
don't.
passes you, your responsibility as the past rider is you immediately
back.
need to drop back.
And so many people ride in the middle as opposed to there's plenty open space to the right of you.
Mhm.
Why are you
Mhm.
all the way over here?
Yeah.
Move over so then people can come by.
And then when you get past, like, don't immediately try to pass that person right back
Right.
again.
Right.
It's like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting all snobby.
You're like, they don't know the rules.
Yeah, who am I?
Out of my way.
Jeez.
But I find that more on our end, where I'm at, that it's just like people don't know what they're supposed to do, and then it just creates like this big bottleneck.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love if we could just toss our bottles everywhere.
That's a rule.
That is a
That
rule.
is a
That is a
Yeah,
rule.
you can't drop
Mhm.
anything. Did you guys see Annie Haug? Like, so she's at the PTO race in Singapore, and she had her spare tube
Oh yeah, that was
attached
crazy.
under her seat,
Oh, that's what
and
that
it
was.
came loose.
Yeah.
and it got wrapped around inside, in between her gears and her back and her disc wheel, and then on the other, it went up and over the wheel and got
Okay.
wrapped around that side of the hub. Also, she had to stop and like 2.5 minutes of
Yeah.
her fiddling with it.
But didn't she leave it on the ground?
No, she
No,
put
she
it in her
tucked it
pocket.
into her pocket.
I thought I saw a piece.
She did drop the Allen key that she used to like fish the end out so she could.
did.
Yeah.
And who was it that their front hydration like fell off, and then they had to like stuff it in their kit?
I don't know.
Oh,
but
I didn't
that's
see that.
I don't know if it's the same race, but like someone else that happened to them too.
Yeah.
But you watch like I know I guess like the Tour de France is a totally different animal. People just like tossing bottles everywhere.
That's not they in the last couple of years they've tried to like clean their act up and they have garbage like zones where they're allowed to throw their bottles. Otherwise they're not.
I just love when you just see them like throwing like cocktails, like they're just like it's just like gone. But like there's people usually like they're throwing it to like fans and stuff. But sometimes it's just like
there is a trash zone like before most of the feed zones or right after the feed zone. There's like an area and the team like helpers are supposed to go and clean up that area. But they're only supposed to dispose of them in there. Yeah,
looks fun. But I don't. Yeah, no, I don't want to be worried about running over bottles.
Yeah. So, any other good rules?
Yeah. Any ones that you would recommend?
No, I think it's okay.
We don't need more rules.
Not more rules.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any
substitute rules.
Yeah,
like fun
or
rules.
eliminate.
I don't know if there's any I get rid of either.
Yeah.
I would just like them to be enforced, like Marilyn mentioned before, like enforced evenly across the field. That's but I don't know if that can ever really happen. You know,
I wonder if it's like those because there's some like baseball umpires that are notorious, like they just like to be a part of the game, and the best umpires are the ones that you don't. The umpires that you know their names are all terrible umpires,
right. Yeah.
like Angel Hernandez.
Yes.
So it's like if like that ref. Like, was he just trying to?
How do you become a ref? Like, that's what I was wondering. Like, is there training? Is there like, how do you become one of those guys that rides motorcycle?
Are they volunteers?
They can't be volunteers.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have so much power. And there has to be.
And kind of unquestioned power because most of the rules you hand down are not going to be videoed.
No, right. So nobody even has video of it.
So was that guy on a power trip? Like he just wanted to inject himself into the competition?
Did Ironman tell him, James?
Yeah,
according
find
to
him.
There's a mandate.
Like when I was told,
get these steroid users
find that guy with no helmet.
That's true. Yeah, that's why I was like, we got to get like earpieces on our walkie-talkies next year so everyone can't hear what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know. That drives me nuts. Inconsistencies. Mm-hmm. There shouldn't be like this. It's either 30 seconds or DQ. Like
And for someone like him, like it's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's his livelihood that maybe you took away for.
PTO seems to be growing and growing, so
it does.
He's got alternatives now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we'll have to see how this all pans out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be amazed if he never does an Ironman race.
I don't think he'll do it after saying it. You think?
I don't know.
Didn't he make? Was it him who makes more money from his YouTube channel than he does from actual racing? Like, if anything, this increases his audience even more. Mm-hmm. So,
and he's on his way out anyway, probably. So.
Yeah.
Do you think though that on the back of the whole Ireland fiasco and then now this just having Ironman with a bad rep,
I feel like they've gotten beat up, a couple of black eyes over the last year or so. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's no other player in the game right now that could step up and fill that space.
We have James Coe of the PV tribe.
It all begins. But PTO, like age group, now that they're offering age group.
Right. But I mean, it's still like how many events does Ironman put on first?
Yeah.
They're talking, I forget how many PTO age group events, 18, something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even that many.
Testing the waters.
Yeah, no, but like that's nowhere near Ironman's 100.
And it's not the same distance either. So.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Might like that format though. But I mean, an Ironman's also getting rid of races too. So
yeah, yeah. There's only 9 North America races next year, full distance races. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Ones this year.
Yeah, canceled a couple.
Mm-hmm. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Thanks along for listening along, and if you made it this far, way to go. You are a trooper.
True champion.
Yeah. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you steer clear of hot tubs for a while.
I don't know. Is that?
Or you might draw you to them.
Maybe.
Like, oh, that's what I could do.
Yeah.
Be like, yes, that's the
That's like
solution.
life hack. You're like, life hack.
Life hack. Yeah.
Put it on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, that could.
Yeah, let's not make that a thing.
No.
Challenge. All right.
TikTok
Thanks everybody
challenge.
for listening. If you're still with us, you definitely need to subscribe because we'll be bringing more of this to you. Week
Whether
after
you like
week.
it or not.
Pretty much. All right, everybody. Thanks again. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks everyone for listening to the Next Level Quad Pod. We really appreciate you spending time with us and listening to everything that we have to offer. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review and a rating. Those little things go a long way towards us being able to bring you more content like this. If you'd like to learn more about what we have to offer, please go to our website at goteamnltry.com. There, you can find out about all the different things we provide that can help you reach your athletic potential. Thank you again for finding time in your busy schedule to spend some time with the Quad Pod.